I knew even before I started researching dental implants that was an expensive option. I barely pay my bills. I pay for my kids to have what they need. I was determined to make it work, whether it was affordable for me or not.
Today, I'm joined by Sean, who's had dental implants for 2 years. He'll reveal some surprising factors that can affect the price of dental implants, and he'll share a few secrets on how he made it affordable for his budget. Did you have concerns about, the cost of dental implants when you were looking into it? Did that maybe delay you getting them?
I knew from the beginning, even before I started researching dental implants, that was an expensive option. It's definitely an investment. But then I thought about, if I went with dentures, am I going to be happy with that? Because there were other options. I mean, dental implants might, it's not the only option out there. But for me, that was what I really wanted. I didn't want a temporary solution. I didn't want to Band-Aid. I couldn't even Band-Aid. I hadn't been to the dentist in so long. I had so many infections and so many problems with my teeth that I knew that I needed a one and done solution. And that's when I started researching dental implants. And the price, to me, I knew at that point when I started researching dental implants that the price was something I was determined to make it work, whether it was affordable for me or not.
And I think another part of that too is like, what if I go and get dental implants? What if I put this time and money into it? And what if I don't like it? What if something goes wrong?
Honestly, I had a friend that they have dental implants as well. Okay. But they went to a different company than I did. And one night she came to work and she just smiled at me and she had this nice smile. But every other day I see her, she started complaining about her new smile, that the teeth weren't fitting her right, that she had to go in for a new set and a new fitment. And she ended up with like 5-6 different sets of teeth. And, to this day, I don't even think she's got her final teeth. And so I knew that, I wanted to go with Nuvia because I knew that people would get their teeth done in a day there and it wouldn't take 10, 12 months, 2 years. This lady was going through horrible situations with her teeth for like over a year trying to get, permanent teeth put in. I didn't want to go through that. I needed a solution fast. And, I came to work one night and I'm like, this is it.
Before we talk about what paying for this looks like and what are some other ways you made it affordable for you, we are going to dive into a few factors that can affect the price of dental implants. And the first one is timeline and durations. Traditional dental implant processes, it can take up to 10 plus months or like your friend, almost 2 years to get your final set of teeth, which can take a lot of visits. It can maybe even end up costing you more. You might be paying for things you don't even know from a start, right? So can you explain how your experience at Nuvia was different in regards to the timeline and how you think that affects the cost in a way?
With Nuvia, when I went to consultation, they actually, all the equipment allows them to make it a one and done, all inclusive type of situation for you. So, you get it when you have the consultation, you get like an itemized cost sheet, which Nuvia provides to you when you go through the consultation, and it tells you, okay, you need, you have 26 teeth that need to be, extracted. We're going to need this type of material, and these are going to be your teeth. And so every line has a cost to it, and then you have a total cost, depending on what you need, depending on your bone structure. So with the modern equipment that Nuvia uses, they can dial in exactly what they're going to need to give you that permanent solution. So you don't have to go back 5, 10, 12 different times saying, oh yeah, we're going to use this equipment. Now we're going to use that equipment. We need to see this doctor. We need to see that doctor. All these things are already dialed in your initial consultation. So with Nuvia, you get an itemized cost sheet of what everything's going to cost. But at the end, that's an all-inclusive price. Or even if you do have to go back to get something fixed or something happens, that total cost is all-inclusive. So no matter what's going to happen on your smile journey, for a fact that Nuvia is not going to dip back into your pocket again.
Another thing we're going to talk about, which is the second thing that can affect the cost, which is like the training of the doctors, the dentists. It is possible for dentists out there to take a weekend course to be able to place dental implants, which sounds
scary.
Yeah, and they could lower their prices, but something might go wrong. They have a weekend course. And so this is something that also can result in additional cost. What was your experience like with Nuvia?
When you walk into Nuvia, from the time that, you walk into the front desk, everybody has a specific job and they do it really well. You get your smile consultant, you have your surgeon, you have your surgical aides, you have the lab. Everybody is all in their specific location. They all do the same thing every day, all day. So they're very, very good at what they do. From whether, like I say, whether it's the person answering the phones at the desk, or whether it's the surgeon doing the surgery, or whether it's the anesthesiologist that puts you to sleep. A lot of people are afraid of being put to sleep because they're afraid that, the anesthesiologist isn't going to be there to help. But you know what? Actually, the anesthesiologist, that's all they do. They monitor and make sure that you are healthy and well through the entire procedure. It's like somebody's holding your hand the entire time and making you feel confident and comfortable.
Absolutely. And that brings me to the number 3 thing that can affect the cost, which is anesthesia. There are some places where that is a separate cost that will be added on, so it might increase the total cost overall. How is that with Nuvia?
Like I said, when they give you the itemized cost sheet at the consultation, the anesthesiologist is on there. And once you pay that total cost, if the anesthesiologist has to stay with you for an hour or 6 hours during your procedure, that cost that Nuvia gave you initially is the same cost you're going to pay when you walk out. It doesn't matter what Nuvia says, this is our price, this is the bottom line, and it's all inclusive. Whether it's an hour with the anesthesiologist or 6 hours, it's still going to be the same cost.
So now we're going to dive into some of the secrets. Let's dive into a couple more secrets that made dental implants affordable for your budget. And would one of those secrets be that Nuvia offered different ways to pay?
This is deep because honestly, I didn't qualify the first time I went. My credit wasn't great. So don't go in with a 350 credit score and think somebody's going to give you an unsecured loan. It helped me understand what an unsecured loan is too, So I had to leave Nuvia and I left all my information and I was kind of depressed, with my head in my hands, my tail tucked, and I went away, but I thought, this is something I really need to do. So I went and I started working on my credit. I downloaded some credit apps that monitored my credit score, and I started putting in disputes with credit companies for things that shouldn't be on my credit report anymore. And if reply to the disputes in the proper amount of time, or they can't find that you actually signed for that debt, then it can't stay on your credit report. And also, if things are too old to be on your credit report, you can have them removed. So I was diligently working on my credit, and I bought some things and I paid them off in a short amount of time to make payments. And I bought them from companies that I knew would report to credit agencies. And that's important. So within 4 months, my credit score jumped from like a 450 to like a 650, in like 4 months. And that was insane. It was wonderful. And I was approved. And that just shows you that if you just put a little effort into making it work and making it a priority for you, that you can make it happen. I went in with a 450 credit score, got denied, did a little work, came back with a better credit score and a little bit of money in my pocket, and I made it work. And because Nuvia offered different financing options, I was approved by one of the lenders. It was my very first unsecured loan, and I'm very proud of that.
Wow. Sean, that also goes to show who you are as a person and determined, you needed better for yourself and you made it happen. And that is that can't go unnoticed, so big props to you.
It's good. It's not just every day looking at your smile in the mirror and being like satisfied with the person you see, because that's a big deal. But to be proud of yourself and to be able to give yourself a pat on the back for, running that race and getting to the finish line and meeting your goal is a good feeling. And, that along with the smile is just complete gratification. Even if you're not a candidate for dental implants, Nuvia kind of tells you what your next steps are to kind of find the smile that you're looking for in life. So the value of that consultation, whether you're a candidate or not, is incredible.
Absolutely. That's very important to point out there. So when did you start making the payments? You said, you had a payment plan going. When was like the first Yeah, when did you start making those payments?
The first payment actually is like 30 days away. I think you have options. Like you can choose when you want the payment to start. Or it's a monthly payment. You can't choose that. It's monthly. But you can choose, I think, 30 days, 15 days, 45 days. So you have a little bit of, leeway with things. Depending, I mean, there's different lenders. I mean, Nuvia has different options. There's a few different lenders that Nuvia works with. What was really great is finding out like you were approved right there in the office, so you get to go home with that joy and, I'm going to get my teeth done. It's a great feeling. It's a great appointment.
And I know a lot of people are curious, what do these payments actually look like? How much is it? And so I do want to say that there is a dental implant cost guide that we do have now. It kind of goes over, what these payments can look like, what kind of options that Nuvia provides. And that's something you can actually download in the description below. You can check that out. I want to bring back up, one more thing, some of your daily expenses that you said, like, Starbucks, for example, or smoking. Can you go into just a little bit more detail of how did that help you pay for your dental implants?
I was looking into my previous spending history because, you have those cards where you reload them and you get points, you're a common customer. So I would load and load and load. And I found that searching through my purchase history that I spent nearly $600 one month on fancy coffees, just coffee, and I was like, that's definitely the height of frivolous spending right there. You know what I mean? So instead of spending that money that I was using frivolously on coffee, on cigarettes, on spending on things that were unnecessary for me to live, I realized that I could just use that amount of money and it would make dental implants affordable to me. If it's a priority to you, you'll find a way to make it work for yourself. And it is obtainable. You don't have to be rich. People say, oh, Sean, you must be rich. You're a millionaire. Your business is so successful. I'm sure you make $1 million. No, guys, I make an average income. I barely pay my bills. I pay for my kids to have what they need. And I get a few extra bucks here and there. You just have to be smart with your few extra bucks that you get here and there. Like I said in the beginning, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you might have to get a part-time job or find a second source or a supplemental income of some sorts if you're living paycheck to paycheck. But if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, if you have a couple extra bucks after you get paid here and there, you just have to prioritize where you're putting it so that you can afford the dental implants.
Now for You Ask, They Answer. These questions come straight from the Nuvia Smile Maker Club on Facebook, home to over 46,000 members. And in this group, you can ask questions, give advice, learn more about the process. And if you're watching and you're curious about joining, you can actually click the link provided in the description below. But here we go. We have our first question. Sheila says, this is kind of a more straightforward, quick answer, but Sheila says, does this place accept insurance?
A lot of people ask that question, Emily. A lot of people want to know if insurance insurance will cover this. And generally speaking, insurance does not cover dental implants. And the reason is because insurance companies consider dental implants a cosmetic procedure. So if your insurance company doesn't deem that it's necessary for you to get a procedure, then they probably won't pay for it. Although there is a loophole to this with a lot of insurance companies. If you do have a good dental plan, a lot of dental companies will have an annual maximum, and they will go ahead and they will, once you submit, what you have done as payment, they can reimburse you at times. I've heard of some insurance companies reimbursing a few $1,000s each year for dental implants.
Next question. Liz says, I have my consultation next week. I'm a bit nervous and anxious, but excited as well. Was it worth it for all of you?
Was it worth it? Absolutely. I got my implants about 2 years ago. Every day has been a blessing. You can never, it's absolutely worth it. Go for it. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. The only thing that I regret is that I wish I would have been able to do it sooner and I didn't have to suffer so long. Because I suffered through a lot of pain for a long time. And if I could have done it sooner, I would have. So go for it. Absolutely worth it. 100%. There are different moments in life that are hard to, it's hard to tell the future what's going to happen, but when you talk to somebody, you can feel the difference when you can smile at someone, like you're accepted as being in that person's presence as you weren't feeling that way before. The feeling of being insecure just kind of lifts away. And that's such a wonderful moment. Different moments like being able to eat a crunchy taco or biting into an apple or chewing bubble gum for the first time since you were a kid. Those kind of moments make getting dental implants worth it, you know?
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, we just have one more question. And Melissa says, I go for my first consultation bright and early on Monday. What do I expect on this visit? Are there many payment plans to fit everyone's budget? My worst fear is not being able to afford to get this done, knowing it's years overdue. So what advice would you give to Melissa?
I would tell Melissa to check out the Dental Implant Cost and Information Guide. It will tell her how Nuvia comes up with the pricing of dental implants, and it'll give her a general idea of what dental implants might cost. As far as being an attainable solution, like I said, if it's a priority in your life and you need to make this happen, you will find a way. Download the information guide. It's going to tell you what the general cost guidelines are.